Well, I mean, I don't think you can look at it in that light. What he has done, he's physically put himself in a better position to play at a high level. I thought he made a hell of a jump from his freshman year to last year. I mean, that was a nice jump. You think about, he didn't play a whole lot of minutes because he couldn't stay out of foul trouble. Then he learned how to stay out of foul trouble and stay on the floor, and his numbers grew, and we benefited from it. But now, physically, he has really committed the workout, his eating habits, all of that. His body's changed, and he's playing. His summer play was pretty good, and he's playing pretty good basketball for us now. I just hope it's a nice carryover into when it really starts.
Trey was talking about places on the floor that you can play in because of responsibility.
Well, again, we have a number of guys now that can score the basketball. It's just doing it the right way and making sure you don't run off and leave your teammates. I mean, it's still a team game, but Kanan has come in and shown that he can defend on the ball and he can score a little bit for us. So that's a bonus, I think. Miles has shown that. We know what Trey is capable of doing. We just got to get him back healthy and 100% and playing. But, I mean, I like the pieces that we have, and everybody's working to try to do the right thing. So, I mean, that's kind of nice to see.
What does it allow Miles, just like very early on, kind of put a stamp on the leadership piece of that position, in particular, the ability to communicate with teammates, to lead teammates, even for a guy that obviously is relatively new?
Well, again, that was something when we were recruiting him that I talked to him about. I mean, we got to have leadership. That position requires leadership. You got to demand respect from your players, and then the players got to respect what you do on the floor. And Miles has been a nice addition because he's a game changer, with his ability to push the ball up and down the floor and make shots. Again, I got to get him where he doesn't run off and leave everybody behind. He still has other guys on the floor around him that he's got to try to make better as well.
I think he said the two of you bonded over your love of the Cowboys at breakfast at Uptown Cafe.
Yeah, I mean, our Cowboys are struggling a little bit right now, but he's a big Cowboy guy too, and we're kind of hiding a little bit, trying to get our team back on track.
Miles has talked about how he thinks it's important to be an extension of you on the floor. Have you had those kind of special conversations with him as what you've learned in terms of game training and how to execute his game?
Well, this summer I kind of, in summer play I just kind of watched and tried to let these guys bond and get to know one another. They did a lot of things off the court, and then I just watched him play. And yeah, you do have to, point guards do have to be an extension of the head coach. I go back to my NBA. Fino was a good extension. When I recruited Fino, I knew what I was getting, man, but he had to learn and grow as a freshman, because, again, make no mistake about it, the college game is different than AAU and high school basketball. So, yes, he's got to be an extension. I've had some pretty good point guards that I've had the opportunity to coach at the high level. Jason Kidd probably being him and Chris Paul sitting at the top in that regard. They have to be an extension of the coach.
There's a lot of talk from the players recently about how much fun they're getting off the floor. Do you think that's unique for this year's team more so than in recent years?
Yes, it is unique. Because when you add, the first year I think we added 4 or 5 players. The year after that was about 4 or 5. And then last year we added, I think, 7 players, and now this year 7. So I think it goes a long way when you're talking about getting together. I mean, they've done so much from picnics to bowling, fishing, you name it, they've done it. And I've tried to stay out of the way to let them kind of be themselves, and I think it's been great so far.
I want to say that Trey mentioned that you all were kind of this spring in that process of trying to make a list of adding guys in the portal, that he had a list of guys, that you guys had a list of guys, and it was kind of like a streamlined talk. Why was having that player input important to you?
It's important. It's like my NBA days. If I made moves around Carmelo Anthony, which I made that last year that we were really good and won the division, I made 8 moves, personnel moves around him, Amari, and Tyson Chandler. So you have to sit them down and include them. They like to know who you're going to bring in. Gallo had his list of guys, and we struck out on some of his guys, but the one guy he did have on the list was Goody, Luke. And, we didn't make any moves on Luke until, he decided he wanted to go in the portal. But we kind of treated, the portal system when we started the journey this summer right after the season like we do in the NBA. We put a group of guys that we think can help us, and you go out and you try to recruit them. That doesn't mean you're going to get them. I mean, I struck out on a lot of guys, but some of the guys like Bryson Tucker and Ballo kind of fell in our laps, and we were able to close those deals.
Were the players more involved?
Huh?
Were the players more involved, would you feel like?
Well, Trey was. Trey has he gets that latitude. He's been with me from day one. Him and Anthony are the 2 last survivors based on when I came in here. They also were the 2 that didn't raise their hand when I asked who was going to stay on board. But now they still with me, so that's a nice thing to have. About the portal? Oh, well, he's played against him. He's competed against him at Illinois. I mean, the kid can shoot the ball, and he's been everything we thought he was. Coming over. So it's nice, a nice addition to our ball club.
Not just in terms of on-court stuff, but in terms of emotionally, seeing that he's already played 3 years across.
Well, again, the guys, Brad did a hell of a job with him in Illinois. They won there. I think he won a Big Ten title under Brad. So, he brings leadership experience, which we need, like Miles and Kanan and Bryson and Gabe, Jakai. These guys are all young players. So you're going to need leadership at the top to direct traffic, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Coached at the NBA level for a while. Is there any player you've coached or even just seen that Miles kind of reminds you of?
Got a little Iverson overtone. I coached Allen in Philly, and there's a little Iverson overtone in terms of how he plays a little bit. Allen was, I think, pound for pound, Allen Iverson was the best little scorer that's ever played in the NBA, I think.